marketing yourself as a realtor is pretty much dead. And I'm about to explain what exactly I mean by that and how you can help yourself in order to stop marketing yourself as a realtor and instead do this one thing that many people refuse or don't even know how to do. Compared to the traditional way of marketing that you've been told to do, it's way more simpler, it's much better, and it gets you a way bigger volume of higher quality leads that you may already be looking for and searching for. So with that being said, let's just get straight into it. Okay, so let me just preface this by saying I don't mean when I say death of the realtor marketer, I don't mean that marketing itself within itself is dead, right? Obviously, marketing is always going to be alive. Marketing is a real thing that you absolutely need, not, negating the fact that you absolutely need it. But what I'm saying is if we are moving towards a time where creating content is more useful in terms of getting business from it than marketing content, and I'll explain the difference in a second. But if that is the actual direction that everything is going, then yes, this is absolutely a shift in the industry and how you should be thinking about creating your content and how you should be thinking about building your social media pages up and taking them in the right direction. Yes, you should absolutely be thinking about this as, let me lay this down to rest. The old traditional way of marketing, right? It's pretty much over. It's been over for a while, actually. And so that is what I mean by marketing within itself. This is the actual, laying to rest of it. So with that being said, one of the main things I want to get to, right, is the idea of chasing your leads, chasing your people and attracting them. There's a difference between chasing and attracting. And what a lot of people do, even if they don't realize it, what a lot of people are doing is chasing their leads day in and day out. They believe that every single post they make is another opportunity to go out there and run for your lead and chase after them, right? When instead there's actually a small group of people on one corner of the internet in multiple different ways that are attracting all of their clients, that are attracting the audience that they want to target. And they're doing it at scale. They're doing it over and over and over. Every single video, they're just simply attracting everybody to come towards them. And I believe that's the way social media should be played. Yeah, again, social media is a game, right? And so it should be played a certain way, especially if you're doing it for your business's sake. Yes, you should absolutely be focused on attracting your leads instead of always being on the chase. Now, I'm not saying, especially when starting now, I'm not saying that chasing your leads, that chasing the business is wrong. It's not wrong in any sort of way, right? But in terms of, scaling this thing and increasing your productivity and actually improving over time and getting more engagement from all the right people, you're going to have to shift towards trying to attract your audience to you instead of always trying to go to them. Now, there are certain things that you may be doing that is actually causing you to stay in this forever, never ending loop of chase your clients. And it's selfish talk, it's selfish thinking, it's selfish content. What do I mean by that? It's always look at me, this is me. Here's how it's all that falls in the category of, hey, this is not necessarily about you speaking to your audience. This is not necessarily about you, but this is about me and how I can help you. Obviously, you're in the profession of helping people. We know that. Everybody knows that already. So if you are shoving that idea, directly or indirectly speaking, if you are shoving that idea down people's, throats, then they will respond in such a way that is not useful or helpful to you or your business, right? What you want to do when building your brand and targeting your audience consistently in order to get leads from all your videos is focusing on the audience's needs instead of your wants and your, trophies, I should say. There's a difference between, hey guys, here's my listing, come check it out, me, and hey guys, I have something for you that you may want to see. This right here can fit your, stuff like that. It's just simply, it can be as simple as changing your language, tweaking your tone just a little bit, just emphasizing that this is absolutely for you. You should be watching this. And don't just do it in the first 3 seconds. Obviously, that's important, but your whole content format, your whole flow of things have to speak to them. Like, it has to be unquestionable that you are catering to your audience and that they should be the ones to watch this for their sake, not for our sake, not for your sake. You're obviously putting out content to grow your business, but your content shouldn't say that. Your content should be very selfless in a way where it makes it impossible for whoever's watching, especially consistently, that they won't reach out to you just because they love you and your content so much. just because they found that you are the exact person who should be helping them out. It should be like reiterated over and over and dug in so much that it's without a doubt, without a question, that you are their person just because you've given, your content away so selflessly. You've given them everything that they want to see. You've told them everything that they want to hear. You meet them where they are every single time, and you speak their language. There's always those four things, right? Where they are, their language, giving them what they want, and tell them what they want to hear. It's always going to be those four things that come down to whether they like you, trust you, and reach out to you, or whether they just see you as another realtor, as another walking commercial, because they see you as walking commercials. Literally, you are one and the same compared to every single other realtor out there. You're just one and the same. And people don't go on social media to watch ads. They don't go on social media to be marketed to in the old traditional sense. Is dead. And so usually, this has been a thing for a long time, right? This is nothing new. Usually when people say, as a real estate agent, you should go out there and market yourself, put yourself out there, right? And you take that information and you run with it, but you don't know exactly what that means in depth. Like, what it means to go out there and market yourself. You know how to put yourself out there. That idea is very simple, but in terms of actually getting something from it, that's where it becomes a little tricky. And that's where a lot of people haven't figured it out yet, because they think that simply putting yourself out there is enough. That if you tell everybody, hey guys, I'm a realtor, I can help you do this, I can help you do that, I'm your guy, I'm your girl, that'll simply be enough. Just because I put myself out there and I made it known that who I am is who you may be looking for, maybe at that point, right? But it's more than that. It's more than that to hit that next step, to reach those next heights. It's more to it to get people to actually reach out to you after they see your content over and over again, or even if you're golden at it, after they see one video of yours. It takes a whole lot more than just to say, hey, this is who I am, I can help you, let me help you. You know what I'm saying? It's so many people doing that, and it's not working in the traditional sense anymore. So putting yourself out there alone just isn't enough nowadays. Your audience doesn't necessarily care about that. What they care about is the things that help them move the needle forward, that help them in the buying process, the selling process. And another thing, guys, it's not going to be general information anymore. You can't just put out generalized content where you're speaking, hey, here's how to buy a home. Hey, here's how you can get this mortgage. No, it's stuff like that. Like that right there is information that's not as valued anymore as you may think it is, just because it's everywhere. If everybody already knows this information, or let's say that everybody doesn't know, everybody has access to this information in so many different places, right? Google, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Chat GPT, Claude, Gemini, doesn't matter. Like, this information is so accessible nowadays to the point where information as a commodity just isn't working, right? That's not the hot commodity anymore. It's who you are as a person that's giving that information away in such a way over and over again that they trust you with the information that you both know to move the needle forward for them. In simple terms, right? They see you as somebody who knows the information just as they do, right? Maybe you know it more, but they know, generally speaking, on the stuff that everybody likes to speak about, they know that you know that too. Everybody knows that. But the thing that's going to set you apart, where it's like, okay, I can reach out to this person now. I feel good about this person helping me over everybody else, is going to be how you do it and the way that you do it, right? And that, again, that comes down to speaking the language, giving them the things that they actually want to see. If you're consistently talking about specific neighborhoods, specific homes, like specifying everything that you speak about within your content that you show them, they're going to feel more connected to you just because you specified it down. Like, you weren't general with your information, nor were you generalizing the way you're, showing it or telling it, right? But you got so specific to their situation or to anybody's situation that they said, if they understand it to the core like that, then they may be the person who can really help me along this journey. And that's just the way it is, right? If you literally dig in deep and specify and not just generalize everything when it comes to, putting yourself out there and giving people information or whatever the case may be, if you speak always to a very specific audience once it actually hits that audience, they're going to feel like an angel just got sent their way just because they feel like you understood their situation so much more than everybody else. And that's all it takes. Like if you, let's say you're, touring a neighborhood and showing people the neighborhood and you're trying to target relocators coming from out of state who don't know a lick about anything, right? And let's say you're touring this neighborhood and you're speaking in generalized terms. Hey, this neighborhood is located here. It has this restaurant, that restaurant, blah, blah, right? Stuff that people can literally find on Google. Hey, Google, what neighborhood is close to this workplace? And it'll show up and it'll tell you, here's the neighborhood, here's what it's around, stuff like that. That's information that people can always, search. It's easily found, like it's easily accessible, right? And then you have another marketer, marketing that neighborhood for the lifestyle instead, right? Not only is it close to this type of commute, but it's also got, these type of schools around it. It's also got these type of things to do around it. Is this walkable to this compared to this neighborhood over here? Not only the stuff around here closed at this time, but the speed limit is much better over here than it is over here. Like if you actually specify different things that you may think in your head they don't care about, neighborhood or not, you can be talking about home, neighborhood, you can be talking about, schools, family life, doesn't matter. If you specify things that many people refuse to just because they think their audience won't care about it, I guarantee you have an edge over everybody. You have an edge over everybody. You're specifying things that nobody's talking about. And everybody wants to know the nitty gritty of things. And the old way, the traditional way of marketing as it was, hey, I'm going to put myself out here. I'm going to give everybody information that many people probably already know, but I'm going to do it in hopes that they like my face and they like my attitude on camera. Shaboom. Selling yourself in that way is no longer enough, right? You have to sell more than yourself. You have to actually sell the process. You have to sell the experiences. You have to sell every little thing surrounding yourself and what you do and what they're looking for in a way so deeply connected to your audience that it makes it without a doubt that you're their person. Now, once you start doing that over and over and over again, you'll start to see that you have a lot more people coming towards you instead of you always going towards them, right? You have a lot more attraction of the leads, right? It's no longer a chase situation. I'm always chasing after my leads, chasing after my business, but you'll start to find that business starts to flow and come to you. You'll start to see your DMs flooded with people reaching out to you first, asking for your help, just because of that simple change, that simple tweak in your content that lets everybody know the very specific things over and over again. So when it comes to your audience, right, and reaching them and talking to them, or with them, I should say, you got to understand your audience doesn't like to be marketed to. They would much rather just be talked with, right? A lot of people hop on online, social media, and they feel the need to market themselves and market whatever property they're showing. They feel the need to always, talk to everybody in hopes that they'll get a good response from it. But social media is changing, not just within this industry, by the way, it's changing all over. If you can't speak your audience's language, then they're simply not going to respond to you in the way that you're hoping. And a lot of people get that confused. They miss it. They miss the mark with that. And they feel the need that even if it's a good video, they feel that that alone is enough. Again, it's never enough. It's always going to be a little bit more than what you're thinking. There's so many different nuances and little tactics that you have to think about when, connecting with your audience, or at least trying to. If you can't get through to them in the way that you're talking to them and the way that you're showing them things, if you can't get through them through a screen and they're scrolling, because you got to understand, guys, these people are on dopamine overload. Like they're scrolling their feeds and they're just entertained like crazy. Like that's their goal. All they want to do is just chill. They're in chill mode. They're in Zen mode. And you have to understand, when people go on social media, they're not necessarily going on there to find the realtor that they're hoping for. Like nobody is actually going on social media in hopes of, if I scroll, I might find a realtor. Maybe one will pop up. They'll help me. No, you have to literally find a way to interrupt their scroll and fit in with what their feed already is. And I guarantee most people's feeds is stuff that is built around what they like to see, what they enjoy, what keeps them watching. And I guarantee, unless they're in the industry, unless they're another agent, it's usually not going to be filled with stuff that has anything to do with any type of real estate. And so when they're scrolling and they're being entertained, right? And you pop up and you say, "Welcome to my new listing. This is 1, 2, 3." They're like, what is this? This is not a part of my feed. This is not a part of the algorithm that I've taken my time out building. Like, what is this? This is obviously an ad, right? Even if it's not an ad, this is obviously something that's advertising a certain thing that I'm not necessarily into at the moment. Sure, I may be coming up closer, to getting in the market to find a home, but this is not what I want to see. I don't care about this. This doesn't provide any value to me, whether that be education or entertainment. Like, this has nothing to do with me. Well, you want to know why? It's because you didn't speak their language right off bat. Like, you came in hot and heavy. They felt that something was off, and something actually was off within their feed, because that's not what they're used to seeing. That's not what moves them. As much as it may seem cool to you and your colleagues and everybody else within this industry, right? It's awesome to everybody else, but it's not awesome to them. Not as much as you think, right? And so once you reframe your videos where it goes from talking to a crowd of people, which, by the way, if you talk to a crowd of people, you're trying to hit as many people as possible. That's what that example I just showed you, that's what that does. Those people are talking to crowds. They're just trying to gather everybody around in hopes that a couple of people out the bunch will eventually reach out to them, right? They're just in hopes. They're not playing the game the right way. They're not, doing everything strategically how another person may be doing and getting so much more from it without doing as much as them. You're talking to a crowd. And when you talk to a crowd, you're literally talking to nobody, because everybody is trying to get a piece of the pie. Everybody is trying to watch. You're just trying to target any and everybody. And guess what? You probably will, but that's not good. Like, that's not the goal that you should have in mind when creating content and making these videos. Your goal, instead of talking to a crowd of people at all times, should be to create for your audience. Talking, let's break that down for a second. Talking versus creating. If you're a real estate agent talking to somebody, you're obviously in a place of authority. At least you feel like you're obviously in a place where you feel the need that if I give them this information, if I tell them certain things, they will appreciate it. They will, take actionable steps in order to not continue, but at least start working with me. And that's what will get them, moving. That's what will separate me as an agent over everybody else, right? But when somebody is actually creating for instead of talking to their audience, instead of just a crowd, then it becomes a whole different ballgame. They are creating content with intention. And what that does, it builds a certain type of connection that everybody else can't seem to build with whoever they may be talking to or trying to talk to, right? If you achieve the idea of actually, building that connection with your audience instead of always just talking to them in hopes that they'll respond back positively, you've already skipped that step of, hey, this is a cold lead, this is a cold person I'm trying to reach. And just because I've made this connection through videos, I've just made them a warm lead. And eventually, whenever they reach out, right, whenever they're ready, they'll already feel like they have a connection with me. And they'll feel like, the content that you've been creating has been specifically for them instead of for everybody, just trying to show off and be cool. The connection, the relatability, everything that comes with creating content for your audience instead of talking to a crowd of people in hopes to look cool and that a couple people will think you look cool and reach out because of that. Everything that comes with creating for your audience is so much more better than just talking to a crowd of people. So figure out who exactly you're trying to create content for, because that is the new and better way of marketing. And I guarantee you'll see way better results in terms of how many people are reaching out, how many, your quality of leads, even that, increases. Become a creator first, have that creator mindset in terms of creating for a specific audience, your audience, instead of just marketing to a group of people or marketing to any and everybody in hopes that a couple or a few or even several people will reach out just because you're marketing, hit the quota or metrics in terms of views and likes and comments. No, it's not the case. If you learn to create for your audience, you will always attract your leads instead of always having to chase them. Market yourself and your properties and everything else that you're trying to market within your business through creating content for your audience. I think that's the bigger picture here. Once you combine those two, then you start to see things unfold the right way. So that's my spiel of the day. This is the death of the realtor marketer and the, rise of the creator realtor, right? The realtor creator, whatever. But As always, if you want to make social media your number one lead generation source, the most chill way possible, where you don't have to, worry about time, money, effort that everybody else is putting in, or you just do it a simple way, a repeatable way, then again, join my community. Link is down in the description. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, by the way, make sure to like and comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you don't miss another one of these videos. I'm dropping banger after banger after banger every single week, several times a week. This is what I do. This is where I'm active. And so I'm here for the long run. So enjoy. All right. See y'all later.